Entre estrellas, entre estrellas.
Team TJ, hoy está con nosotros una actriz que ha formado parte de una cantidad impresionante de proyectos en la que destacan la serie de Cobra Kai, Being Mary Jane, WandaVision, Project Power, entre muchos otros. Y hoy viene a hablarnos de su personaje Rosa, mejor conocido como Yaya, en la serie de Cobra Kai de Netflix. Hello, Rose, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Oh, me encanta el acento. Oh my goodness.
Thank you so much for being here with us. It's amazing to have you in the program. You're like our third interview from Cobra Kai. We had Emily Marie Palmer last year and Jessica.
And who?
Jessie Cole.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, so it's really exciting to have you here.
Okay, it's exciting to be here. And I'm just going to say, yo hablo español, pero, supuestamente hablo español, por eso es que entiendo lo que me están diciendo, lo que tengo que decir en el papel, y en muchos papeles que yo hago tengo que hablar español. Pero, como ustedes saben, yo soy americana, así que el inglés es más fácil para mí.
But you speak really good.
Yeah, your Spanish is
Muy
good.
bien.
Lo que pasa es que a veces las palabras se me van y no sé qué decir. Empiezo a hablar y empiezo a decir, ¿cómo se dice? Así.
That happens to me sometimes in English, but I'm learning.
Good, doing good.
Well, so we wanted to start asking you, before Cobra Kai and anything, how did you start your career in acting?
Interesting. Good question. When I was 17 and I was in high school, I took a theater games class with my friend, and I was not thinking of doing theater. I was enrolled in college already, and I was going to study pre-law because my mother wanted me to be a lawyer. So
That happens.
I said, sure, I'll be a lawyer. And then, and another interesting story about that. But anyway, so then after I had done a couple of plays at the school. I went to Catholic school, and we did one play a year, and I was in a play every year. I was in, whatever the production was, but I couldn't sing. It was always musicals, so I couldn't sing very well. So people had to sing with me. The chorus, cantar conmigo, because I just couldn't sing by myself. But after taking that theater games class, it's like I como me desperté, and I said, what I really want to do is be an actress. It was so weird. It was like, of course, that's what I really want to do. So I actually changed my major to theater in this college, and I had never really seen a professional play. So I started volunteering at a theater near my house. And I was volunteering for, working for free and taking classes over the summer, and acting class in the summer. And then in that theater, there was a play that had been running for a year, and they were writing a sequel to that play. And they asked me to audition for it, to play the lead character's girlfriend, who happened to be an 18-year-old Puerto Rican girl. And I said, I can play that. So they wrote it for me because they thought it would be so cute if he had a girlfriend, So I did that for 7 months. So that's what I started. And when college started, I was doing this professional play and then going to school also.
Wow,
So
that's impressive. And that's really interesting because sometimes people just want to do, I don't know, they want to act or sing or dance, and it's interesting how the destiny, if we can say, changed the path, right? Because you were studying law, and then what happened, right? And that's really cool. And it's really, really cool that you can actually get to start studying theater, because here in Mexico, in Tijuana, where we are right now, we don't really have that many opportunities, because we have now the la licenciatura en teatro.
Uh-huh.
It's a degree, yeah. And but it's like 14, 15 years old, barely.
The program?
Yeah, it's really new. It's really new.
But that's okay. At least it exists.
Yeah. And but we it's the only thing we have here. We don't have anything else. We have like
no tiene colegio en Tijuana.
Yeah, but
no,
we have schools, but no like college or something like that.
Mhm.
that has a lot of like theater or music.
Yeah, because you can get you can study theater high school, but it's like just
a few classes.
And that's it.
Well, I think that even where you are, there's probably some art, there's probably some musicians, and maybe some little theaters decide to open up and do some plays, here and there. It's like people who are born in Tulsa, Oklahoma, I don't know, because I've never been there, but maybe, well, Tulsa is a big city. Let's say a small city in Oklahoma, and they don't really have that many options. So they go somewhere else, they go to Chicago or something, to study. And that's what you can do, because I'm sure Mexico City has plenty of schools.
Yeah, Mexico City has a lot of them. Our goal is to live in LA. Actually.
Yeah, we're gonna go to LA.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
because city of opportunity.
Yeah, because for the program,
very expensive.
a lot of interviews, a lot of events happen in LA. So we want to go there so we can work there.
So what do you want to do in LA? Do you want to do theater? Acting movies and film, or what?
Aside from the show, we are singers.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's like our main goal for LA, but it's also because we want to take the show to we want to take a bigger step with TJ Entre Estrellas. So like, I guess that we have two goals, this and singing.
Yeah, but right now we have like a bigger opportunity with TJ Entre Estrellas. We have some friends over there that can help us. So yeah, we have like, but because COVID,
that's
the border closed and barely and it's like, oh my god,
that's what
I can't leave this hotel room without putting this on.
I know.
Yeah, so yeah, that
sometimes in my head it doesn't exist, so like I'll get off the car without my mask and I'm like, oh wait, I need my mask.
Yeah, you forget.
Yeah,
it was a little bit better for a while, but now it's bad again and everybody's super careful and whatever. But as for your goal, I think go for it, because it's, if nothing else, you could be there a couple of years, you'll make friends, you'll meet some industry people, and you'll learn something, and then you might hate it. In Atlanta, which is where I live in Atlanta.
okay.
And I'm from Chicago. I lived in LA. I lived in New York. I lived in New Orleans. Okay, but I live in Atlanta now, and I've been here for 20 years. My children grew up here. To them, this is home. I mean, I'm in Texas now, but when I'm in Atlanta, and a lot of people go to LA and they're there for 4 or 5 years, and then they decide to come back to Atlanta because there's more opportunity for actors who really want to start making credits. And so or else the people start here and then they have a lot of credits and then they move to LA, because now an agent might meet with them because now they have a lot of credits.
Okay.
So So I think that's how it is for here. But you're in Tijuana, which there's no opportunities right now. It's not like Atlanta. So you need to go where the opportunity is, right? So I think that you should do it. You're young. Oh my gosh, if you don't do it now, when are you gonna do it?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we actually seen a lot of films like, I don't know, Marvel, DC Comics, or Netflix movies and everything else records on Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta and where else? It's mostly on the East Coast.
Yeah, because I'm part of a page called Project Casting. Yeah, and I see a lot of auditions there, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, we get a lot of emails that say Marvel wants you, and we're like, all right, well, where is it? And it's in Atlanta, and we're like, oh, well, you can't go over there. So
yeah, and we didn't know that, because a lot of people think that Hollywood, LA, and they record everything and everything happens there, but no, it's not that true.
This is how it works. Okay, when you don't have all of the main decisions and the main decision makers, the producers, the directors, the stars, the name actors, they mostly live in LA.
Yeah,
because that is where it starts. That's where most of it is happening. But because they can shoot cheaper in Atlanta, so the cost of shooting is cheaper in Atlanta, partly because of the tax credits, which you don't entiendo the tax credits very good.
Me neither, don't worry.
Yeah, but it's because of that. So they started coming to Atlanta because it's so much cheaper to shoot here. And we're talking about probably they're saving $1 million, you know?
Wow.
So they want to come here because it's cheaper the hotels are cheaper, the set, you know, everything is cheaper. And the extras they don't pay extras as much as they pay in LA.
Of course.
Now the actors, yeah, but the actors, we get paid the same as LA, even if we have small roles, because I'm in the union and they're union productions. So they don't hire union extras, but they do hire union actors. Now, the one of the problems with living in Atlanta is you always have to read for very small roles, you know, because all the big roles are pre-cast in New York or LA. You get that? So then they fly those bigger names in, or the bigger roles, they cast them in LA or New York, and then they fly them into Atlanta. Same for Texas, same for New Orleans, same for Detroit, Michigan, Florida. That's typically how it works, but it's not 100% how it works. You never know, you know. And I live here, I lived in LA. Well, I went to New York for a few years after I was in San Francisco visiting my girlfriend, and I stayed there for several years just for fun. Then I said, I got to get serious. So I went to New York, and I was taking classes, and I joined like a little off Broadway company, but I couldn't get an agent. And without an agent, it's very difficult to get any roles.
Yeah.
So I spent almost 4 years in New York. I finally got an agent almost at the end, almost like in my 4th year, and I booked a couple of things. But by that time I was engaged and we got married, and then my husband got a job in Los Angeles. So we moved to Los Angeles.
Okay.
After I spent 4 years trying to get an agent, I finally get an agent. I'm like, oh, gotta go to LA. All right, never mind. So then we went to LA. And he was managing a theater over there. And I got pregnant right away. And so I was just not interested in pursuing the business when I was pregnant and when the baby came. And I basically gave up acting when I was like, I have 2 children. One of them was born in Los Angeles and one of them was born in New Orleans. And, you know, when you're raising children and your husband works and you have to work because you need money to pay the rent and for insurance and all that stuff. So I kind of quit acting, and we moved to Atlanta because my husband got a job in Atlanta. So we always, wherever he got a job, we moved to there. But we stayed now in Atlanta for 20 years. And we bought a house, and then when the kids got to be older, so I didn't have to always be there for them all the time. So maybe Phoebe was like 12, 13, and my son was like 17. And I started doing some little theater, you know, community theater for fun, super for fun, that's it. And I decided to send my picture to an agent, and I'm like 50 years old by this time, right? And they had me come in, and I had to audition for them, and they said, that was great, we'd love to have you. And, you know, so I got back into the business. So I took a 20-year break from the business.
Wow.
Yes. So now I'm here, and I've like 10 years, over 10-year period, I'm booking all the time, you know. And then some people say you should move to New York or you should move to Los Angeles. And, you know, my husband I even thought about moving to Los Angeles, because we said, well, it's so warm, it's nice. The kids were grown. My son was married, you know, my daughter is out of college, you know. And we thought about it, but it's too hard for una vieja como yo para ir para Los Angeles a vivir en un apartamento. Oh my God, it would be horrible. So I was like, I'm too comfortable.
It's hard.
So I'm happy. I'm happy to have the opportunities that I have. It's been being on Cobra Kai has been an amazing opportunity.
Yeah, it's really impressive, everything about your story. Thank you for sharing it.
Thank you for hearing it and saying that. It's just, you know, I give it to you because you're so young. And honestly, I'm from Chicago, but I went to San Francisco for adventure. And then I was like, oh, I got to go to New York and I've got to pursue my career. You know, I've got credits and now I'm in equity. I got my union card and I'm ready for New York now, you know. So you got to live. This is the time.
If it's not today, when, right?
Exactly.
We only live once. So getting back to
Talking life stories.
yeah.
What brought you to Cobra Kai?
You gotta take things to the next level. Eagles do not respond. They swoop down and take whatever they want. First, you gotta learn how to fly.
Come on, we're gonna get sued here.
Sue me for what? Tighten that cord.
Oh, an audition. I mean, actually, there's a thing called Actors Access, which you should know about because if you don't know about it, you should write it down, actorsaccess.com. Yeah, okay. So they have breakdowns that they put out on Actors Access. And they're not all the breakdowns because most of the breakdowns means the roles for the movies and the shows. And usually the best breakdowns go to the agents only. That's why you really need an agent. It's real hard for that one. But you can start, because if you don't have an agent, you can start self-submitting. Through Actors Access, you can self-submit.
Okay.
You see a role and you say, oh, I'm going to submit for that. Now, most of the things on Actors Access, they're either non-union or like short films, or maybe they need something very, very specific, like somebody who speaks Polish or somebody who is, you know, missing an arm, or, you know, I mean, I'm talking about real specific stuff. Or sometimes they will, some casting directors, some casting directors, they take pity on actors and they put the breakdowns right on Actors Access.
Okay.
Like there are a few casting directors that regularly do that. Raven Drummer does it all the time. I think Erica Arvold is starting to do that. Bajo Sanubi was the casting director for Cobra Kai at the time. And so he posted them because he wants to give non-union actors an opportunity to read.
Yeah.
You never know. It's like, they're really like angels, these people. So anyway, I saw the role of Yaya, the grandmother, Rosa Diaz, and I read the description and I was like, why haven't I read for this? So usually when they have it in Actors Access, by this time, the agents also have the breakdowns and I should have heard about it. But I did not hear about it. So I had to contact my agent to say, I saw something on Actors Access. It looks like it's perfect for me. Could you please submit me? She goes, oh, yes, absolutely. And they submitted me and then I got an audition and then I taped it because even back then it was all tape. But then I had a call back in person and I had a call back for Bajo. And I think I only had one callback. I had to do 2 tapes. First I taped it and they gave me a note. I taped it again. Then I went to the callback. I met with Bajo and then I got the part.
And everything else is story.
Yes.
Wow, that's for everything else who's watching this interview, you can take notes if you want to start a career in acting, because this is something that not a lot of actors or people tell you, and it's really interesting. And we should actually have like I don't know, like a podcast or something like that talking about all of this, because there's no one who goes to you and it's like, hey, you have to do this or you can do this, or because
you kind of just have to figure it
Yeah,
out on your own,
and it's
you're
like, okay,
what
so
am I supposed to do?
where, how?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a lot of people ask me that, especially younger actors and people I know, people I've met in, sometimes because I can't do theater unless it's professional theater, which I haven't done and nobody does theater anymore, but because of the COVID. But before that, I did a couple of professional plays, but sometimes I can't be in community theater because they don't pay. And, so if I book a job in TV or film, I can't just say, oh, I booked a job, sorry, ciao. And then they're left hanging because they have nobody, they don't have understudies because they don't have money. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah.
So but I love theater. So, and I was like on the theater board for a long time, and I would do costumes, stage manager, things like that, just because I like to be part of the show. So a lot of those young actors would ask me questions like that because it is not so easy to know what to do.
Yeah.
And I always say, well, the first thing you do is you need to take some classes so that you know what the hell you're doing. So you don't embarrass yourself when you finally do get an audition, because what if you get an audition? What if you look great? You have a great look. You have a perfect look, and both of you could be cast in Hentified if it wasn't canceled. But all right. But you don't know what you're saying. So you submit your picture and they're like, yeah, they look pretty good, but they have no credits and they have no education. So first of all, they're not going to pick you. But number 2, even if they do, you're not going to know what you're doing. So just you got to take some classes. And then you should try and do some student films, college films. So you have some tape so they see what you look like in action. And maybe through doing college films and being in a school that teaches acting, where the teachers are all working actors, so they hear what's on the grapevine and then they pass it along to their students. I mean, it starts from the bottom and then you start learning and hearing more. If you get a few credits, and you don't have to have a lot of credits, but if you have a few, especially if you're young, if you have a few credits, you submit by email or through the websites or sometimes by mail, and then maybe you'll get an interview and then you'll have an agent. So it's just a process, you know. And once you have an agent, then you audition all the time. And you might book 1 out of 10 auditions, or maybe 1 out of 20 auditions. And that's considered pretty good.
Yeah.
So it's a long process.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
After the pain.
Were you a fan of Karate Kid in the 80s?
Of course. I was a fan of Ralph Macchio.
And how is it like working now with him?
I mean, it's good, but I can't, you know, you can't. Okay, I'm going to say that when I was in my 20s, of course, I was a huge fan of Ralph Macchio. I had a huge crush on him, of course. But, you know, 30 years passed, and then all of a sudden you get to work with him, which is amazing. But you can't be like stupid. You just have to act normal.
Yeah. Oh, okay. This is happening.
So cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's cool. He's actually he's very, very sweet, and he listens. You know, he'll like listen to you, and he goes, "Oh yeah," and he'll have things to say. I was telling him stuff about my husband was sick, and I was telling him a little bit about it. And he goes, "But everything turned out okay, right?" And I said, "Yeah, thank God." And he goes, "Well, thank God." You know, like he's just a nice guy. And it's super nice. You know, what can you say?
That's so cool.
He looks nice.
Yeah.
He looks really nice. When the project started, before Netflix picked up the series, did you imagine that it would have this big impact like it has now?
No, never. When I auditioned for it at first, I just liked the role. The role was good for me, and it was a funny role. I guess I love doing funny stuff. No, but it was going to be on YouTube Red. And at first I was like, I don't know, it's going to be on YouTube or something. I don't know.
What's that? Why?
How much is TV on YouTube? I don't know what that's all about. Whatever. I don't care. They're paying me. So, yeah, I had no idea. But when I found out who the guys who created the show, that they have a really good body of work behind them, legitimate, funny, successful. So I knew that this is like a pretty legitimate project, and I had hopes that it would be good and that it would last for more than 1 season, even if it was on YouTube Red, because at the time we thought maybe YouTube Red was going to be more successful and it would be another channel like Hulu or something. But that didn't happen. But of course, now we're on Netflix. So
whole new step.
No, I had no idea. You just get the job and you are happy to do it and you do your best job. You know, this is amazing.
The show has made a big impact on his brother. So like, incredible, because the day that the new season came out, he's like, okay, happy Cobra Kai Day, we gotta watch it. And he made us all sit down and watch it, no stops, not one stop. We just had to watch it all the way through, no stops.
Yeah.
Funny.
Yeah.
Well, I had to watch all of it, but it took me 2 days because I also was going to have interviews, so I needed to know right away. I couldn't wait because I was going to have an interview like the next week or that week, like that Wednesday. So I was like, oh my gosh, I better watch all of it so that I know what he's talking about, you know. But it's easy to watch all of it. It's not hard work because I watch it like a fan. You know, I don't know what's going to happen. You know, you don't know. I'm not in so many scenes. And so I'm not there all the time. And I don't know how it's going to come out. So when you watch it, you're just like, oh my God, this is so good. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Kenny. Oh my God, I love Kenny so much. I love that so much. And Tanner was so serious this year. He was so like such a man. And you know, Tori was so
I felt bad for her. Like I started to feel really bad for her.
I felt so bad for her. You know, I swear to God, it was
That's a good character development.
Yeah,
right
like
there.
The switch, oh my god, with her character, wow.
Yeah, the writers are doing such a good job.
Yes.
Like, and the improvement from the last season and this one, it's huge.
Yeah,
Because
from the
we can see it, like the fight
Mhm.
sequences. The everything else, everything, it's like,
those fight scenes are like from the competition. Whoa.
yeah, they're
They
getting
were
better and better
intense.
every season. Because we remember season one.
Those actors, first of all, have to study this karate all the time.
Mhm.
So they must all have black belts by now because they've been studying intensely for the last 4 years, right? So they're getting better and better also. That's why it's just better, I think.
Yeah, no, really, because I remember season one and I love all the seasons, but now to see season 4 is like, wow.
Way more intense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
really impressive.
Oh,
We
good.
want to see what's going to happen
I
in season
know.
5.
I can't tell you about that.
I know. We'll have to wait another year.
Right, it's coming out at the end of this year.
I don't know.
I don't know.
We don't know yet.
I don't think
I suppose because
that's what's been happening,
Yeah,
right?
that's-
It comes out
on
Every
January,
year,
Right. Yeah.
at the end of December, January.
we have to see.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait.
There's no rules in streaming. There's no rules in streaming. Who knows?
That's true.
So you speak Spanish,
Mhm.
but how was it to work with another language and talk with an accent?
Bueno, Miguel, dime, ¿cómo te gusta estar haciendo el karate con tu novia? Me imagino que les encanta el combate de mano en mano.
I'm glad you and Sam are back together.
Resolution.
Oh, that's a good question. Okay, well, ahora voy a hablar español. Es más difícil para mí, pero como yo hablo español y entiendo español, no es imposible. Y también yo hablo con Vanessa, que hace el papel de Carmen, y ella, a veces yo le pregunto, ¿cómo se dice esta palabra? O no cómo se dice, porque yo, si está escrita, yo sé cómo decirlo. Mis líneas. So, a veces yo no sé cómo traducir algo suficientemente that makes sense, porque hay mucho slang, tú sabes, cosas como locura que tengo que decir cada vez. So, nosotros hablamos, what's the best way to say this? You know? Y el primer año, cuando yo era jovencito y la mamá de él estaba allí, sometimes I would talk to her. Y ella y entre las tres, you know, adivinamos qué debo decir, ¿entiendes? Ahora, el acento ecuatoriana es difícil, porque como yo soy puertorriqueña, mi español es un poquito tirado, so tengo que recoger el acento un poquito y no hablar como una puertorriqueña, you know? No, I can't talk like that porque eso no sirve.
Claro.
So I can do it, pero tengo que practicar. Por eso cuando yo estoy hablando así con la gente, como si sin tener las líneas preparadas, hablo más lento, tengo mucho hesitancy y más lenta y cosas así. Pero cuando lo tengo preparado y lo practico, no es problema. Pero todavía tengo que tener cuidado de no tirar el acento mucho porque la gente de Ecuador tiene un acento más neutral.
Mhm.
You know, so I've got to try and wrap it up like that.
But you do a great job.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, we were like, because we didn't know if you how can I say it? No, no sabíamos si hablabas español o no.
Oh, mhm.
Entonces, bueno, supusimos que sí,
Ajá.
por la serie. Tu acento no se nota para nada. O sea,
Mm-mm.
when you speak English, no hay acento. So, trabajar en la serie
Ajá.
es totalmente diferente.
Needing to have a Hispanic accent where you don't have an accent when you speak English is, I don't know, it's crazy, especially when you're not that ethnicity, like
Yeah.
Puerto
Yeah.
Rican, and they're Ecuadorian, so you had to practice with a whole different accent.
I do, and I work on it. I work on it because I don't want it to be. And sometimes I'll go like, like I could hear. So, but I try to make it right because, okay, vamos a suponer los americanos tienen que hacer un papel de irlandés o de Inglaterra o que sea. So they work on that accent, you know. It's the same. En español, si tengo que hacer un acento mexicano, es difícil. Oh my God, it's really hard. Mexican is hard.
O argentino.
Oh, forget about it. Pero, olvídese. But, porque Ecuador es un poquito más neutral, hablan como la gente en la televisión, tú sabes, como los newscasters.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, eso es un poquito más fácil, más fácil que mexicano. Mexico City tiene un acento diferente que otros tipos de mexicanos que están en el countryside o fuera de la ciudad. So it's different. They're very different accents. So I have to look up where is this person from, and then I work really hard and I do the best I can, you know. Yo tengo un amigo mexicano, Tony Guerrero. Él es de Mexico City. Él trabaja aquí en Atlanta all the time. Él siempre está trabajando. Él es como un anfitrión de los eventos y cosas así. And he talks real fast. So some people think that Mexican speak slow, pero Tony habla bien rápido. So you got to know what you got to decide. Where's the person from? And then you got to practice that accent. So
Yeah.
es difícil.
But it's really good. It's really
Yeah, your accent is really good.
Thank you.
Chili's website. Wanted it to be authentic.
¿Auténtico? ¿Para quién? Somos ecuatorianos, no somos mexicanos.
Mama.
Here, try this. Spicy mango. It's like the old country.
Ah, gracias.
How did you create the character of Yaya? Because, you know, like every actor has their process of how they create their character. Like, yeah, okay, you have the lines and all that, but how do you put yourself into that character?
It's like any acting. It's like any acting of any kind. You get the script, you see what she has to say, you see what her relationship is with the people that she's talking to, and you learn everything about the character. What do other people say about her? And the costume helps too, because when they, you know, the costume helps me to know, okay, esta persona es cosmopolitan, un poquito jibarita, sabe, you learn a lot about the costume. That helps you to know what kind of character it is. But you have to make that decision when you're auditioning. Now, this grandma is, she's not so sweet como azúcar. She's not. Ella un poquito agria, pero not agria, pero she's a little twisted. You know, she's not. She's not super sweet. She just like tells it like it is. She makes like dirty jokes and things like that. This is why she gets along so good with Johnny. So, you know, she's lived and she's been around, and ahora cuando uno se pone viejo, believe me, you calm down. You have to calm down. You get so tired at 9 o'clock, you're like, you know? no matter what you think about yourself. I feel young. But it's like, I'm not young. She just had to calm down. She came here to get away from danger in Ecuador. And I've talked to the creators about this. Sometimes I think that she does like maybe ironing or something in the house. I feel like she's not doing nothing in the house. I think that she's helping Carmen, you know. She's just tough. I think she's just tough, but also why be miserable all the time? You know, just like she likes to make jokes and she likes to find humor in things and find joy in life. So even though her life is hard.
Do you identify with her?
She's more like my mother than me.
Okay.
Honestly, you know. So you say, how did I find the character? I found the character by deciding all those things. I think all about what is she like? What is her life like? What does she want out of life? Is she disappointed? Is she okay with her life? You know, and I make those decisions, and that's how you create the character. Now, she's a little bit like my mother because my mother was not calladita, cocinando, y sabía no era calladita. Ella era siempre out. She was like, you know, she was kind of a ball buster. I don't know how you say that. You know, so she was también un poquito como haciendo chiste all the time y hablando duro y diciendo, tú sabes, no, vete para allá, vete para la mierda. So this was like her personality. She had an up personality. So I kind of like modeled Yaya un poquito como mi mamá.
Okay.
Now we're talking. You miss this, don't you?
What do you like the most about being Rosa?
I like that she's funny. I like that they always give her funny jokes to do, but I also like that it's more like they give me more to do than just come in, make a joke and leave all the time. So they've given me more to do. They've made me explore my character a little bit more. So that's all. I mean, what can I ask for? I mean, I'm not making lead roles anymore. You know, I'm not the romantic lead anymore. For me to have a role at my age that is so significant to the story and funny, because I like doing funny stuff. It's helpful I feel blessed. That's all I gotta say.
If you can describe Cobra Kai in one word, what would it be?
Cool. I keep thinking cool, and that's kind of meaningless, but the way Johnny is, because Johnny's character and his personality really dominates that show in many ways. And it's just, they make fun of him because he's so like backwards and things like that. And at the same time, he's like, you know, he's like he's got a lot of confidence in a way in himself. He's got his way of thinking and it's politically incorrect. And yet he can get away with it because people love him. I just think all that is cool. It's just a cool show.
And that leads me to the next question. Cobra Kai exposed Johnny's character in every way, making the viewers feel empathy with him, like you were saying. And sometimes you can even relate to him. So if you could be part of Eagle Fang or Miyagi Do, what would you choose?
Oh my God.
Eagle thing.
Okay, I've got to think of myself as an 18-year-old girl who used to take karate, Taekwondo in Chicago.
Oh, really?
Same.
Taekwondo, yeah. And I would say Miyagi Do because they were very much into meditation and not and not being aggressive. And like we would say world peace would be our meditation word. We'd be like, world peace, all that kind of stuff. So it was very, very much like Mr. Miyagi,
Okay.
That's crazy. I took Taekwondo too for 6 years, and it was never like that. It was like fight, but only fight to protect yourself. And there's like, it was never strike first, strike hard.
No mercy.
I know. That's what I mean. And but it wasn't like, it wasn't aggressive. It was just focused, strong, focus, strong, focus. So, and discipline.
Yeah.
And about discipline.
Lots of it.
Lots of discipline.
So obviously that's what I feel like I would be gravitating towards, because that's what Taekwondo was like. Focus and don't be aggressive, But that's all.
I would probably pick Eagle Fang.
Yeah.
I think so. Just because when I did Taekwondo, I mean, it was a lot of focus, it was a lot of discipline, but it was also like a lot of sparring, like a lot of it, and a lot of learning how to protect yourself. So
Nice. I only did for a couple of years, so I didn't get too far. It was a yellow belt.
I got all the way to red until I hurt myself. So I'm really sad that I wasn't able to make it to black, but a lot of it was learning how to protect yourself in sparring. And yeah, so I definitely pick Eagle Fang.
Well, I liked that Samantha's character particularly, but also Cholo's character too, that they realized it was important to know about the opposing side. It's like balance. It's really good to know both. I like that whole thing about this whole year was about balance.
Yeah.
Always about balance, isn't it?
That's what drove me crazy about Johnny and Daniel, because they were always like butting heads, and I'm like, you guys could easily work together.
I know.
Good balance. So it was just really
But they
annoying.
love being in the past.
Yeah, they are both really stuck in the past. So I mean, the story is so good. So yeah, I really like that. And I wish that moment when they were at the competition and they decided to work together just for that one little fight. I was just like, wow, finally, it's what I've been wanting this whole season.
I know. I can understand though, because Johnny's way is just completely the opposite of what Mr. Miyagi taught. So for Daniel, it's just, he just can't even entertain that could be a way of thinking. And it's ingrained in him, that's just part of his life. So for him to break down and understand that, Johnny, I think, was maybe more open than Daniel to accepting the other side point of view, which is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. Especially coming from Cobra Kai with Kreese and being all, it has to be like this, you always have to win, and it always has to be violence. And he was willing to do Miyagi Do.
Right.
It's because, like we were saying before, you can relate with him because you can see both characters and you can like see their point of view, every side of the story.
But we're on the outside looking in, of course, so we can see all the sides and we see what's happening. I was like telling somebody that, especially Mary, she had a really, Mary Mouser, she had a really good trajectory this season. She's an interesting actress because she's tiny. She's got this baby face, right? But she's so emotional when she gets mad and when she gets determined. But you know what I mean? That I was impressed by that. And then all of the kids, Cholo, he had such an emotional fight inside of him all season. It was always inside. And on the outside, he'd be going, yes, sensei, yes, sensei. And in his head, he'd be like, I don't know. You know what I mean? You could see he was fighting something all season, but you didn't exactly know what it was. But I could see that it was happening. He had some kind of push and pull so hard inside of him. So that's an interesting character. These are good actors. These young
Yeah. And talking about that, you got to see them like grow.
Yes. And they're growing in the characters, they're growing in real life, they're growing in all their skills. All their skills are growing. It's nice to see that. I like that. I love to see talent, and I like to support, young people who are just achieving success. I love it. It makes me happy.
For our last question, do you have any funny stories from recording on set?
Oh, let me see. Stories. I don't have too many funny stories. I can say little things like, I'm freezing cold all the time. Because it's a really cold set. And in the winter, they had to bring us heaters to like Carmen and I, or Vanessa and I are like, yeah, we're cold. How it is. Men are never cold. I don't know. I don't have any funny stories. I just have nice stories,
What's one of your favorite
moments
from recording? If not a funny one.
Oh, so my favorite, it's
hard.
I think my favorite parts are just sitting with Vanessa, and I get more anxious. I'm a more anxious person, and she's a more centered person, even though she's so much younger than me. And sometimes she'll say, I'll be like, oh my God, I'm just so nervous. My stomach, is hurting. And she's like, just calm down, Rose, and breathe. And maybe take a few minutes in the trailer before you come on out. And ella es como bien centered, bien madura. And I love having her there and having her be my friend and supporting me there. So that's one of my favorite things.
Does it really come down to this? Johnny Lawrence playing second fiddle?
I just want what's best for Miguel and all of your students.
So now you know what's best for Miguel.
Circle around things your whole life. Wait for problems to show up at your doorstep.
You cannot strike first with this guy.
Okay, so you did give a lot of advice already, but is there any more advice that you would give to someone who wants to start a career in acting?
I think I gave all the advice that I could think of. I think the first thing would be to take some classes, because what if you hate acting? What if you have trouble memorizing, and you got to at least see if you are cut out to do that kind of business. So that's my first advice.
Okay, perfect. So Rose, thank you so much
for being here with us.
It was really a pleasure to us to have you here in the program. Thank you so much for sharing with us your story. And you have the doors open for the next season or any project that you have coming up. So,
this movie.
Yeah, like this movie, for example.
Yeah, well, I'll talk to you more about it when I can talk more about it.
Yeah, of course. Perfect.
And then we can have you back and play a game too.
Okay.
And let's hope that we can do another interview in person.
In person, fingers crossed.
If you are in LA and we can go, we can do it in person.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, I do actually want to go to LA and visit for like a month, because I want to know I just kind of want to have more auditions in LA and that sort of thing. So I'm thinking of doing that.
Great. Well,
perfect.
We'll
we'll message you.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Ciao.